What is up, everyone? Welcome back to No Cap Space. The playoff-a-thon continues. Tyler and Shawnee here holding it down for you. On a night where, Shawnee, we're all evened up across the board, both series, going 1-1 as we head to the lower seed sites. We're going to talk about both games here. We're going to lead off here with the game that just finished, the Fever and the Aces. But before we get into that, you already know, if you've been around, you know what's coming. Code NOCAP15 to get 15% off your first home field purchase. At the link in the description below, you find the No Cap Space collection, personally curated, chosen by us here at No Cap Space. So make sure you go and get your gear from home field, the absolute best out. They got hats, they got hoodies, they got literally everything that you could think of. They got. I promise you won't be disappointed. And of course, like, subscribe, bring your friends over, come get their takes off, come start the dialogue. And as always, a super chat gets you on the stage. Shawnee. Real quick, actually, before we dive into this, that's a nice beanie you got there. I wonder who's going on the show. Who's going to be here on YouTube tomorrow? What interview's dropping? Man,
I wonder.
I would love to hear from Joyce Edwards.
Ooh, you know cool. What? Yeah, like an up and coming star of the new look Gamecocks. The next big of Post Player U.
I would like to hear from Joyce Edwards. So, I mean, if I was wanting to do that, I would probably subscribe to No Cap Space here on YouTube as we continue our journey onto 5K. But let's dive into these games, Shawnee. Enough of the self-promo.
With the beanie, I have to remind everybody, I still win. Like, look, you can't hurt me.
This is
always up.
Yes,
I still win.
Somehow, some way, Shawnee always wins. But when she loses really bad.
I'm an Aces fan.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, but I'm thinking like in the long term.
Like, the UConn thing.
Yeah, UConn Liberty back to back in the same year. Like when but your win rate's really high though. I will give.
But when I lose, I leave here with something. I'll say that. Yeah. Liberty win, but I get 1 of 19, and now their coach is fired. UConn wins, but Paige gets carried, so I can at least say that.
Paige gets carried. Okay. Yeah, we'll probably I'll probably get a couple Liberty takes for you here at the end of the show. I think, since me and Greer were able to break it down earlier in the day, so make sure you check that out if you did not get to. But yeah, Shawnee, we'll get a couple takes from you here at the end of the show after we talk these games. Our first super chat of the night. You good over there?
I don't know, man. I think it knows I'm about to say something. Everyone's jumped.
Oh man, $2 from Jonathan. Becky's got the clipboard out. GG's, see ya in Indy. Yeah, the adjustments tonight for Vegas. Thank you for the $2 there, Jonathan. Did you? I see you kind of iffy here. What's were you not feeling the? Were the adjustments not crazy to you or what?
I feel like Asia, like, it is what it is. Shots weren't falling. Like, I still, I mean, you could talk about from Vegas I'll take the Fever perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I think to me from Vegas, one, they just, couldn't miss, generally speaking, tonight. Like, and the Fever defense wasn't fantastic by any means, but when you're shooting 53% from the field and 41% from three, you're probably going to be feeling pretty good about your chances, generally speaking, and especially when a lot of that is coming from the best player in the world, A'ja Wilson, and just getting her back on track was massive. And to me, from a defensive perspective, one, like, I think they were just generally more aggressive in how they were playing things and trying to put more general pressure just like at all times. Like, they weren't really giving Kelsey much room to like get that first step off, which I thought was a big deal. But also I didn't feel like they let anyone kind of get on an island like we saw in the last game. And maybe this is more of a Fever thing than it is an Aces adjustment, but like Melissa Smith was not taken advantage of on the defensive side throughout this game. And I wasn't sure if Vegas was going to be able to escape that in any of these games over the course of this series. So to see them, again, whether that's more of a Fever thing or an Aces thing, I'm honestly not 100% sure, but wasn't taking advantage of it. And Alyssa had a great game in her own right in this one. And I see, just to throw it out there, I see y'all's pay chats. Once we get to Phoenix and Minnesota, we're going to lead off with those. But yeah, that's kind of my general thoughts on the Vegas side. To take the Fever.
You playing with house money. You know, the great thing about the playoffs and getting, the taste beat out of you, it only counts for one loss. So you get everything out one game, go back home. Everybody hates playing at Gamebridge. It is an incredibly advantageous atmosphere for them. We saw what it did to the Dream. Obviously, the Aces are a more mature team than the Dream, a more experienced team. So, like, they shouldn't, fold the same way, but it's like it's still gonna make a difference. Role players play better at home. Get a day to get some rest. Because Lexi Hole's a little banged up.
Yeah.
Everybody obviously else is banged up. Yeah, I think I don't want to say like this game didn't count, but this game was kind of like expected. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, like Indiana shouldn't have got that first game. Like they did exactly what they were supposed to do. You split on the road. That you won. You won the first 3 games, honestly, if you can take care of that first game at home. So it's like I'm not super blown away by what happened tonight because I'm kind of like, you the Aces, dog. Like you shouldn't have had to like make adjustments,
Yeah.
Like good on you for doing that. But like the stuff I'm hearing from last game, it was like, oh, it was just an emotional day. And I'm like, nah, bro, y'all got
We've had a lot of MVP nights in Vegas at this point.
That's what I'm saying. It's I'm
not rocking with that.
Calm down. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And then it's like they found out on Friday, allegedly. So it's kind of like, I'm not trying to hear that. Oh, it's an early game. And I'm like, I'm not trying to hear that. Like, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to hear any of these things. They just came out, caught them flat-footed. You recovered, got your blow in, but I'm just kind of like, series kind of starts now. Yeah. You go to Gamebridge, see what happens. That's where I'm kind of like, that's where I got to see Steph White's clipboard, see what she got cooking up, because there will need to be some adjustments now that like Asia is like, all right, locked in, because you saw like she was taking advantage of Leah more, in space a bit. She's doing and Becky had said that like they were trying to move her around and make sure like she's got space and she's able to operate wherever. So it's like they tried to put Bree Turner on her. It was kind of, it is what it is. Yeah. But again, role players play better at home. So we'll see what the energy is like and if they can come out and if they have the juice, because that's my other concern. Like, if they have the energy and the adrenaline's flowing, like cool, then it can be a good game. But I'm still just like this team has put everything into it every game, so I'm not like discrediting it. It's just like if they do run out of gas, I'm like, you know what, good season, y'all. Like,
no, it's I'm with you on that. I'll bring this one up as we're talking here again. Thank you for the pay chats, and if you're talking Minnesota Phoenix, we're gonna get to those. I'll bring those up once we switch over. Nalissa heard the slander tonight. KGB with the $2. Yeah, offensively, I thought Nalissa was really good, and she's really settled into the role player role, right? And I think that's kind of what people have always been like saying about Nalissa, like since she's kind of gone pro, and like once the rest of the roster kind of built around her, and it had never felt like until now she had been able to do that and like find that role, and it took being next to like the fit next to Asia is just working really well right now. And also.
She came into Indiana thinking that she was a role player. Like her brother's on Twitter saying like, oh, they already have a role player, or a franchise player when they, announced Leah Boston and stuff like that. And she never really seemed like she didn't like fitting into a role with people I guess she felt were on her level. So now you get to Vegas, and I said that like the same thing with Dejanay in Minnesota. Like you're gonna cut all that out. You have a coach that's not going to play that. You have a superstar that is already established and in MVP conversation. So it's like they're not gonna
GOAT in her own words.
That's not, you are gonna have to play your position, and then you come in with an established hierarchy. So it's like even if after Asia you got Jackie, then you have Chelsea, and so now then you can fit in again with the Kia Stokes role, and that's a net positive replacing Kia Stokes with her.
Sure.
So again, she needed this structure to kind of, I don't know, she bought in because
Mm.
it's like it's very easy to buy into this because it's like, what choice do you have? You gonna come
Mhm.
in and tell Asia Wilson like, hey dog, I know
Mhm.
you going for 4, but like, but swing the rock. Like,
Yeah.
no, cut
Yeah.
it out.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that again. KGB, thank you for the 2 super chats. Get your comment on screen as we break down the Fever and Aces here. I guess kind of on the flip side of that, I think from the Fever perspective, someone who needs to hear the slander compared from game 1 to game 2 to me is Latasha Howard. I it's on some levels, right? Like you're not wanting to ask the world of Natasha Howard. However,
No,
comma, that
no,
that is
no.
where you're at this point, and you have to. And to me, you should be getting like the fact that she's the lone starter that's not in double figures. When again, like it's either one person, someone those is guarding somebody, right? And we saw what happened in game 1, and that to me was disappointing in this game. Like to see her be the only 6 shot attempts, 6 points, 7 rebounds, not the performance to me that the Fever needed. And I thought that was a big deal in game 1 was how well her and Aaliyah Boston kind of at the same time, it felt like really kind of started off and like kind of the 2-man that they had. And you mentioned getting off to a hot start, which I think Indiana, to your point, absolutely needs to do at home and presumably should be able to, feeding off the energy of that what's going to be a ridiculous crowd in Gamebridge. But yeah, I need more from Natasha Howard. Like between Aaliyah Boston and Natasha Howard, someone needs to be scoring, right? It can't just fall on the perimeter.
Okay, because so here's my thing. She's
Yeah.
34 years old. So when you
Mm-hmm.
say I don't want to ask the world of her at your big age,
Well,
yes, you
that's
should.
more so why I'm trying not to ask the world of her.
No, I'm gonna do it because here's
Okay,
my
go ahead.
problem. I'm going back to the beginning of the season when she came in and did the preseason interviews and was like, "I want to go for MVP," and I was like, "MVP of what? That ain't what you was brought here for." But like now, again, I said this a couple lives ago. This is your opportunity to show that you have been a defensive player of the year in your career. You have been able to be a serviceable scorer and reliable scorer in your career. So like you do have to step up. You're 34. You're the vet. And it's just like her game gives me gas. I don't know why she's not coordinated. Like she goes up like she just got those limbs this morning. And it's very awkward to see because like that play where they're all scrambling and then like Asia and Alyssa block her at the same time. And I'm just like, why are you going up that soft? Like, what are you doing? Like, okay. So I just feel like at this point, she's got to be consistent because you were talking at the beginning of the season. I remember we were having that argument about body language. And like Caitlin wanting the ball back, like stuff like that. Like you can't be doing that and causing that kind of dialogue and then not produce. So this is a good question.
Yeah, right here. $2 from Anna. Howard on this team next year. I would guess yes.
She's serviceable, but it's just like again, if you can get somebody better and younger,
yeah, and I'm
more
not. I don't know exactly. To be honest, one of the best answers in the league right now is on the bench. She's a rookie. Like I don't know. I don't think she's ready fully for that yet. But so like I could see like maybe another like stopgap year with Natasha Howard. But I do think that eventually, oh Lord,
My bad.
no, you're good. I do think that like that to me. I mean, Michaela Timpson's right there. Like that's where I would be looking. And I'm a fan of Timpson. Like I've liked a lot of what I've seen. And so
and tonight was one of those games where it's like throw her in the fire, bro.
Yeah,
like
I agree. Yeah, only 2
and,
minutes tonight. I don't love.
Yeah, and that's my thing because it's like if you know the game is getting out of hand and we're getting ready to head back to Gamebridge, you need Natasha Howard. She's 34, so we should probably be getting some rest. And it's like let Timpson get these minutes because we saw Dominique Malonga powered up in 48 hours. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if Timpson could do it that fast, but I do think like these would be valuable minutes.
Yeah,
she gets that experience. Yes, she's going against Asia Wilson. Get the baptism over with.
Like I mean, y'all are already getting torn up anyways. Like
right.
nothing's really changing between this and that. So,
but she's got to be the future because I feel like she's too valuable a piece to let waste away in moments like these and you got to be smarter with the minutes. So I just didn't
Yeah.
particularly care for that. Natasha Howard again gives me gas. It's I just I'm not a fan of her game.
Mm.
She comes through sometimes, but I need
Mhm.
consistency, bro. It's the playoffs.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. B-Mac. My guy B-Mac right here with the 5. B-Mac, if you have a question, I don't know if you weren't able to put a question there, but if you do, put it in the chat. We'll bring it up. But thank you for the 5, B-Mac. Yeah, I mean, looking ahead, I think also another piece of this is that Vegas's bench has not been incredibly consistent by any means over the course of this
Of
year.
3 years, 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, we you can literally place that clip at like any point in the Asia Wilson reign against of the WNBA. But tonight, 10 points from Jewel Lloyd and able to get it mostly at the free throw line. You only take 3 shot attempts, right? Dana Evans with 10 points as well, 5 and 9. You look at the Fever bench, you got 1 point, 0 point, 4 points, 1 point, 0 point. And like obviously some of those are kind of garbage minutes, but like you didn't have like kind of your kind of like random, like whether it be Aerial Powers or Bree Turner or like in these kind of been not like pop off games, right? But like certainly games where you're getting contributions that are legitimately felt from the bench from the Fever, and you didn't get that today. Whereas on the other side, you did. And again, that's not something that has been consistent for either of these teams at any point over the course of this season. So I'm kind of interested in monitoring that as we head back to Indiana. How does the bench production, again, as you mentioned, normally role players play better at home, and so you would think we saw how Aerial Powers turned up in Indiana. So like I'm very interested in what the Fever bench, more specifically, what the Fever bench looks like in Indiana, because I mean they just you don't get anything, right? You get 24 minutes with Bree Turner and you get 1.3 rebounds. You know,
And I honestly think like that could be where the game is won, because I respectfully, like, Dana is very important. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's the only one that can really match Kelsey's speed, so they really need her. But I don't. I still don't particularly trust Bell. I still, Jewel Lloyd is kind of iffy. I'm not sold on May Gustafson, magnet ball or anything like that. So it's like the bench really, if they can come through, power of friendship, do what you need to do, pray to the black forces. I don't know, man. But I think the bench could come through and provide what's needed to win the game.
Yeah. We'll be back, Colin here. Just love for the stream. However, Colin, he's got it down. Looking forward to see what Steph White and the crew come up with for a counter punch in Indy. Likewise, B-Mac, appreciate you for the 5, B-Mac.
Most importantly, what color leather jacket is Steph White?
Yeah, and yeah, so that versus the hoodie Blazers.
Oh gosh, what what is going on?
Well, I can't believe we're still doing that, to be quite honest.
We just look so goofy. Like we have this very mature coaching staff. Like, bro, there's grays in his.
It's not the same energy anymore. Like the whole team's older now. Like it just it doesn't work for me the way that it used to. I do want to bring guys in the chat some, but they were mentioning 12 steals by the Aces. I see for Aristotle. Like, I mean, you look at the turnovers. Can you be 28 points off 22 turnovers for the Aces? Like, I mean, just yeah. There was never any rhythm whatsoever for Indiana at any point in this one, and that's why I think, again, as you mentioned, I think it's a great point. Getting off to a quick start in game 3, especially, is very important, right? And taking advantage of the home court. We'll wrap up here for the Fever and Aces. Where are you at with this, Shawnee? Where do you? I know me and you have kind of been on the same wavelength where it's like, goodness, this has to run out of gas at some point. And tonight felt like one of the first nights where it was like, oh, like it kind of felt like it a little bit, but like you get back in Gamebridge for 2 games in a row, you're back at home. That I feel like that tank can fill up real quick.
Yeah, and it's got to be in game 3. So if they lose game 3, series is over. I don't think they have enough to come back in a game 4, even at Gamebridge. I think game 3 has to be the game where you use all of that, you re-up, because it's like at this point the Aces are kind of, they're locked in. So I don't expect a tremendous amount of drop off from the Aces from tonight to what day is it? Thursday, Friday?
Friday. Game's on Friday.
I don't expect a tremendous amount of drop off between now and then. So it's like you're gonna have to raise your level of play and not expect them to, fall off. So if you don't get it done in game 3, I don't see it happening in game 4. And I know that's not much of a prediction, but that's all I got.
I think that's fair. Again, I'm with you. You gotta you need foot on the gas immediately in game 3. Like I feel like the first quarter in game 3 can tell us a lot. And because I think the big thing is like Vegas to me in game 1 never really kind of like they had a couple of runs here, like to get it within like 6 points, give or take, in game 1, but ultimately like it never felt like they regained control. This Vegas team versus this, like the game 1 Indiana team, is going to be a Vegas team that might be able to regain control over the course of the game. And so like as much as you can try and build a cushion early and just, again, don't let the aces take the crowd out of it by any means, or kind of suck the energy out of the room. Like anything you could do to maintain that early. I think the first 5 minutes might prove to be incredibly important for Indiana in that game 3. And I'm with you. Game 3, I mean, obviously every game's important, but game 3 feels incredibly vital in terms of the idea of trying to go, if you're down 2-1, to try and win and survive in game 4 and then go back to Vegas and do it again is a lot. And so game 3 is incredibly, incredibly important here. Any closing thoughts on this one before we hop over to Phoenix and Minnesota?
I will still win.
There you go. Okay, let's start off with some of these super chats that we got early on in the show that were more so about this game. Sherry with the $5. Thank you for the 5. AT said, Fee got to guard me too, and then proceeds to put her on skates in the clutch and overtime. Give me all 5 games, Merc in 5. Ooh. Look, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm the one that like kind of posted that clip. Surprise, me being messy, I know. I have just been over the course of this series already. I have seen just like the seesaw go back and forth between each fan base using that clip to their advantage and pushing their agendas. And as someone who has like no dog in the fight whatsoever in this, it has been so entertaining. My notifications have been giving me life with it. And this game, this seesaw was going back and forth too between. We saw them getting chippy as well. AT and Fee get into it a little bit, like nothing crazy or nothing, but like just enough. Just a little bit of negativity, just the healthy negativity.
Like we're looking at each other, we chirping a bit. Yeah. I'm bumping, you're bumping back. Like, turn that up.
I loved it. I loved every bit of it.
And shout out, and I'll never say this again, but shout out to the refs for letting it happen. Like, technicals are like, hey, is everything all right? Like,
right. Calm down. Or like when the refs like come and like protect one player, like they just guard them with their life. It's like, all right, chill. Like you're like at their armpit. So like, what are you prepared to do about it?
But also, might have killed her. Hold on.
Okay. Well, hold on. That's a conversation for another day. Jared, thank you again for the 5. KGB had the 2 earlier. Cheryl's end game awareness this series. It's been a little weird.
It's been a couple games, bro.
It's been a little weird.
What game was that? Was that first round? Yeah, first round, and they had that shot clock violation at the end of the game. Like, hello.
Yeah, you don't foul here.
Ages are incredibly large ages. We're getting 5-second calls.
Yeah,
and that one, I love Fee to death, bro. But you nonchalant, like she's like kind of stand there aloof, and then like 2-3 seconds go off, and now she wants to run to the ball and like call for it. And at that point, it's like Bridget Carlton can't see. You know, she's already flustered and it gets called. And I'm like, that you can't, those are those moments that I'm talking about when we talk about MVP. Like you should have been the first one to the ball. You should have been in position to get that inbound pass, if not the one inbounding it. I don't know. But I just, that one baffled me because I was like, yeah, this is that. If they lose this game, that is the moment.
Yeah. $5 from Joe here, 15,000 shots and 4.5 months. You know what I'm about to say? Respect Sammy Whitcomb. That is like the hitting the 3 to send it to overtime. My mind immediately went to our resident Sammy Whitcomb trooper, Joe. That's where my mind immediately went, Joe, was to you and respecting Sammy Whitcomb.
I said, who's Sammy Whitcomb feeling like?
Yeah.
But then she got like some most improved or 6 women votes.
The one 6-woman vote, and I was like, "Who the hell did that?" But look, she has been solid in these playoffs.
Boy.
Like, this is what you get her for, you know. Like this is like what she's able to contribute right now in playoffs. Obviously, a player who has been in the playoffs before and has has done this ride before, right? This is what you get her for, is to do exactly the role that she's playing right now. And she's been phenomenal over the course of these playoffs. Really a lot to like. And again, respect Sandy Whitcomb, Joe. Thank you for the 5. Okay, let's talk about the walk down here in the second half, Shawnee. Because wow, I thought this was over at half. And mainly because of my respect for Minnesota and the team that they are. And I'm like, Minnesota isn't gonna allow this to happen. Yeah, the runs kind of came. I was like, nah, it ain't gonna happen. And then like the runs just kept going, and I'm like, Minnesota, like when would you like to be Minnesota? And they just never did. And like Nafisa Collier, the scoring wasn't there in the second half. I mean, just absolutely
not just the scoring. Sometimes she does this thing where she turns the ball over, like she's trying to run a pick and roll, and it'll be like 9 people around the elbow, and she'll try and like get somebody to cut through. And I was like, sister, there's entirely too many people for you trying to make that pass. What are we doing? And it was just moments like that. They're like not holding on to the ball. They're scrambling, like they're getting out rebounded. Like Alana Smith, I like Alana Smith too. I got no beefs with her, but it does not look good when your DPOY gets burnt for the game-winning shot. The 3, stay on your feet. You know she's gonna shoot it. Just contest. Stay on your feet. You're not gonna. Look, if you shooting, if unless it's Sabrina Ionescu, the odds of you blocking a 3-point shot are very low. Stay on your feet, get a hand in it, try and block their vision, but just calm down a little bit.
Yeah, I am shocked, frankly, at just like how discombobulated Minnesota looked, especially in the second half. I mean, they end this game with 17 turnovers. That doesn't happen really with Minnesota. Like again, like it was just a lot of things. Like when you look at whether you're watching the game, eye test, you're looking at the box score, like that's not something that normally happens with Minnesota. Like as Aristotle mentions there in the comments, like 7 turnovers from Courtney Williams, certainly not great, right? And that's normally where you kind of see like Heidemann come in and like over the course of this season and kind of reset the pace. Because Courtney, outside of that, Courtney was, I mean, you say outside of 7 turnovers, obviously not something you could just completely disregard, but like was really solid outside of the turnovers, right? You know, you go put up 20 points and 9 assists with 3 steals and 7 rebounds. So like a very good Courtney Williams game outside of the turnovers. Again, you can't, it's kind of hard to excuse all that. You get 24 for Kaylee McBride. You get 24 still with Fee, even though obviously the second half, the scoring wasn't there in the way that you expect from Fee. I'm surprised again, just to, that's funny. Let me finish the thought. I'm gonna get to that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised to see Minnesota blow it and get walked down. That's just not something I frankly thought. And this is something I've talked about on here. I trust the foundation of what Minnesota is as a team so much. I trust the defense that they have. And whether it was Alyssa Thomas getting rolling or Satu Sabali getting rolling, because it was really just kind of them two and Sammy Whitcomb. Like, because Kalia Copper was like, that's been the worry kind of about Phoenix, that like one of the 3 isn't going to be at the level that you need them to be. And Carl wasn't that tonight. You only get 8 shot attempts for 8 points, right? And not very impactful across the stat sheet. But then you have Sammy Whitcomb showing up in the big moments. And really, you got enough from Satu and Alyssa Thomas in this game because of how good your defense was in the second half. So I'm, again, just a bit like kind of like shocked, I guess. I mean, just to put it simply, like just shocked, frankly, to see that Minnesota was able to be walked down like this. I just thought that they had a kind of a stronger backbone, generally speaking, that we've seen to allow something like this to happen against Phoenix in this series. Like I'm just a little shocked, but I do want to bring up this super chat real quick. Then we're gonna get back to this game. $5 post game fever and Becky already politicking the rest for game 3. Look, the game never truly ends. Okay, the buzzer might sound, you might be off the court, but the game never ends.
Quit being scared, because I see that sentiment on my timeline. Like, oh my gosh, we gotta go play against the refs and gamers. Like, no, you don't. Or if you like, we watched Asia truck stick Lexi Hold to the point where her back is broke now. Like, She was laying her out. User big hit after user big hit. And it's playoff basketball. It's playoff basketball. All right. Go in Game Bridge and play playoff basketball. Like, it is what it is. Like, the Dream Series, too. Like, horrible calls in Atlanta. Horrible calls in Indiana. Put on your big girl undergarments and, like, let's ride. Like, it's fine. I don't... Stop being scary, bro. Stop being scary.
Yeah, I'm with you. KGB, thank you there for the 5. Shawnee, I mean, now this series goes back to Phoenix. Again, I'm just a little stunned by how this game goes for you and your perspective, like in terms of like now as we move forward in this series, right? Like Phoenix and what you're able to accomplish. You go and again, I mean, obviously both the unders, like the lower seeds here, able to go and split away. Like that's the goal, right? That's what you're trying to do. And now you're able to go back to Phoenix and try and go win this on your home court. Is anything about the second half for Minnesota? I guess I'll put it like this: does it worry you going forward, or is this kind of one of those ones, kind of like that you just flush down and you keep it pushing?
Yes, because we saw it in round 1. So if this was just like, all right, you're facing a team, you're more evenly matched, and now we're seeing like cracks in the armor, then I'd be like, yeah, they got to tighten up. But it's like we saw this round 1, so that is now a concern, a big concern to me. And the reason why the Aces are winning it all. So that's all I really like. You gotta play smarter. You cannot win a championship with a 5-second call with 40 seconds left. You cannot do that. Yeah. You cannot win a championship with shot clock violations under a minute left. Like they have got to get it together. They are too cohesive any other time. That's the crazy part. This team plays so together. Like, how can y'all not inbound the ball or get a shot off? Like, that's gotta be fixed immediately. But this is an incredible series. Yeah, like both teams are very evenly matched. You got your 2 MVP candidates doing what they do. It's just a matter of consistency. Like, we've seen both teams fall off a cliff now. You know, with like Minnesota's late game execution and whatnot. Phoenix, you're not really 100% sure what you're going to get from night to night. But
100%, yeah.
You know, Coach Giblets, he's got them doing what they do. So I think this is going to be a good one for him. See what his clipboard cooking up.
Yeah, and I look, I'm not that I'm questioning Cheryl Reed's clipboard, but I'm very interested in what the adjustments look like, right? Because that's the thing that's always been interesting about Alyssa Thomas led playoff teams is what the adjustments look like in games 3 and 4, like as you get deeper into the series and as these things kind of start happening. Because Alyssa Thomas was able to be very impactful today, 19 points, 13 assists. Like you got the full Alyssa Thomas effect tonight. In that she was able to get to the rim and was able to kind of body up Fee a couple times, and like they're 6 of 15, 7 of 10 from the free throw line. Like you got what Alyssa Thomas brings to your team tonight.
Because, bro, like, you're down 3. They call a timeout, and they're drawing up a play. And it's like, you know who's not shooting. You know this play. So it's like that. I'm sorry. I just thought about them getting burnt on that Sammy Whitcomb 3. Respect to the Aussie, but it's just like you knew Alyssa Thomas was not shooting, like, and you're down 3. So somebody could have, like, you could have made it a little bit harder for them to shoot that 3. Yeah, I'm just bothered by that.
No, I mean, again, the whole late game execution, like as bad as the walk down was, like and like not being able to like kind of just stand back up at any point in the second half for Minnesota, the end, like the last minute is what is sticking with me for the Lynx going forward. And
she shouldn't have jumped.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm almost scared to change and get to our final topic. I'm almost scared. But any closing thoughts here, Shawnee, on the Lynx and Mercury?
No, I need to re-enter. I need a new entrance. Change the topic. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we got some news in the WNBA. And if you're here subscribed on the NoCast Base YouTube channel, you would have got the immediate reaction from me and Greer. We had already known that the Dallas Wings and Chicago Sky were going to be retaining their coaches, but what we did not know is that the New York Liberty would not be retaining 2-time WNBA champion Sandy Brondello. I'm almost scared to ask. But Shawnee, you were not able to join us this afternoon. I would love to hear your thoughts on the New York Liberty's decision to not renew Sandy Brondello's contract.
Rest in peace, bozos. Pour a sip out. No, I need that water. Dynasty is dead before it even started. What a bunch of losers. We sat here and we talked about Emma Miesemann being this ceiling raiser and this all-world player, and she went out and embarrassed us and got Sandy fired. Everybody's talking about they gave AP second all-W second team to Sabrina over Aaliyah Boston, and she's not even in the playoffs right now and ended up getting her coach fired. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen a team fall off a cliff like this, right? You have the 2023 Sandy blew it. I ain't gonna hold you. She blew it because there's no reason why we should have won that championship on their floor with those circumstances. She stunk. So that's her. That's on her. You come back this season, you get more players, you get better pieces, you start doing book club, you start going to pottery classes, you start really like reading KP's quote every single day and saying like, yes, we do love each other. We care. And then Sandy still has to cuss you out in the locker room. Cause like when I saw that clip, I was like, I'm not convinced. Like something about this don't sound right. Like every time Becky's had to like go on one of those like rants, I'm like, I'll check in next year because y'all don't got it. And that's the thing. Like you're too old. Y'all are too experienced. There's too much talent on this team for her to have to ask you why you aren't playing with heart. So I'm just wondering how much of a locker room cancer was Sabrina Ionescu to where we run off Sloot, then you run off Sandy. Now you're gonna run off probably Stewie. Like we'll stay tuned. But I just think like she's a franchise killer. And I don't know how the franchise kind of comes back because I'm like, you have the press conference, right? Where they're asking Stewie, like, do you think Sandy deserves to stay here? And she's like, so she's either an incredible actress or Sabrina snaked her and went behind because that is the franchise player. Like I've said this before, like that is who they are building this team around and that's who they promote as their person. So if nasty rumor hour, Sabrina got her fired. No,
this is incredibly nasty rumors. No journalism being done here. This is just potentially even unethical. But
just well, if it was unethical, I would say it is fact. But we are saying completely unsourced, completely speculatory.
No, not we. You're saying this. Don't put this on me. You're saying this. I am not.
1000%. Hey, look at how, part of it was, I think Sabrina was pissed about losing in the first round. Like she is a competitor, I guess. And so like her demeanor made sense to me. But I think she's got Sandy fired just by being mid.
Okay. Well, to take it to the paid chats real quick. KGB with the $2 again. Thank you. Got her more stars and found out. Ooh, this fake. Oh, that's wicked. That's wicked. $2 from Anna. Brondello to Seattle, Portland, or Toronto. I can I can see Seattle.
No, because I still don't think Sandy's a great coach. I think she left a ring on the table in 21. You wasted an all-time BG postseason run. You left a ring on the table in New York. So I think like Portland or Toronto because you have the, like she can stabilize, she can develop a team, develop a system, develop, she's good with no expectations. Like we talked about Seattle the other day, like Seattle is in win now mode. So it's like, I get it, but I'm also like, I don't trust it to go all the way.
Yeah, to me, it's interesting because in terms of coaches that have won WNBA championships, like if you're looking at like if that is like your kind of baseline here, in terms of a cycle, there's not many other options, if any, frankly, and that's like the only reason I could probably see Seattle. I don't know if Portland or Toronto is something that would interest Sandy Brondello. Like I don't know like the expansion idea and like kind of going through that and or even the expansion franchises. Like you might just you see what like Natalie Nicasio was able to do in Golden State. You might just want to go get like a young gun of your own that has like and allow them to grow alongside your franchise. So I'll be very interested in what this ends up kind of looking like for Sandy, because actually I saw a comment under our video that we released earlier today, and they said this was Michael Bunner 2041 said this on. We'll get the credit here. It's a longer comment, but the first sentence was really stuck with me all day today. Sandy and Olaf tandem is hard to evaluate because they are high performing underachievers. And that's a bar, because that is kind of the definition here. Like, it's like we have seen, this has always been the, like, I mean, look, I said on the video today, I have had plenty of critiques about Sandy Brondello and like the way that the New York Liberty have operated over the time of her tenure there, and really since like Stewie and John Quell get there and everything. Like, I have had plenty of thoughts of the hierarchy in terms of like the shot counts and everything. Like, I get it. And so like I don't even necessarily disagree in the firing. I just don't know if there's a name that immediately jumps out that can be better. And that's what I'm interested in, like what they find. Because to me, you only make this move if you have someone in mind. This doesn't feel like an open interview process type of job here to go and fire. Well, I can think of a player that's a former player that's loved in New York that Angel might want.
We'll see.
Could it be Spoon? $2 here from Joe. Sandy dislikes young players and Skylar likes her. Where does that put her here?
Sandy want to go to the unction?
Look, if they're keeping the unction together, as a stopgap coach, I wouldn't love it, but like I'd understand the process of thinking. If they're going to do that.
No, same.
So like that's why I'm not gonna be exactly moved by it, I don't think, but if they're keeping the unction together, I understand like wanting to go get a coach that has done this now. Like, so I would get that. Liberty kind of the unction too. Yeah, that's it. And you could tell, it's not hard to tell. I'm very interested in what the Liberty roster is going to look like, because you have players that are saying they're going to come back. That was obviously before this. I haven't really kind of gotten any gauge in terms of like reporting or anything that that there was much heads up by this, but also I don't know that, I haven't been able to get a feel either way, where it's like you have stop. I know exactly what you're laughing at, and no, we're not going to bring up Chrissy sides here.
I didn't say it.
We're not doing it.
That wasn't me.
We're not doing it. And so like you have like the post game answers, which again, you don't have exit interviews, so you have this really awkward moment where just you have to ask your postseason questions here right after your loss. So that's on the organization, by the way. And all these organizations that aren't doing exit interviews are only making things worse. But that's a whole nother soapbox I could get on. But yeah, I don't know if what we saw then is what we have now. It seems like that could shift. This has just kind of been like kind of a weird. This didn't feel like the vibe we were headed towards immediately, at least like in the aftermath. It didn't feel like we were headed towards a Sandy firing. It was like I was shocked today to see it. I can understand the thought process, but like you had, it reminds me, and I brought this up on the video. It reminds me a lot of LT getting fired in Dallas, where like you have a very successful season, and then you have a season that was just absolutely destroyed by injuries and like just not being able to find consistency, and then you fall flat. And obviously different expectations and where you started at and where you're going, but like I'm just again, there's not many coaches, if any, that have a WBA championship as a head coach that are going to be available to go and bring in here. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
David didn't say something else. Let's wrap up.
Yeah, the hate's taking over.
You mentioned Dallas and Enrique, and I'm about to.
What's crazy is I didn't even mention Enrique. So that's how I know the hate is taking over. Is that I didn't even mention her. That is our cue.
Look, I'm just saying, Enrique was the leader in steals under LT, so LT can get the most out of a roster.
You don't got to convince me.
Yeah. But it's more so people are arguing with me about Enrique. So that's
There. Okay. Well.
And you know my
grass is green.
You know my angle.
Sky is blue, grass is green. People are arguing with Shawnee about one of 3 guards in the WNBA. On that note, thank y'all for tapping in with us here for another night of the playoff-a-thon. Friday night, after the games are done, we're back here. So make sure that you are as well so you're subscribed and click the bell to be notified every time we go live and drop a video. Again, whenever we have these breaking news moments, we do our best to try and bring you the content and the reaction ASAP. So make sure you're tapped in here on the YouTube to make sure we are on the way to 5,000 subs. We're trying to hit it by the end of playoffs. That's the goal that I'm manifesting here. So make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. Of course, nocapspacewbb.com for all of our print and podcast content. Tomorrow, Joyce Edwards, full interview here on the YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe for that as well. And of course, our friends at Home Field, NoCap15 gets you 15% off your first purchase and the No Cap Space collection in the description below. And thank you for tapping in and for all the super chats. And we will see you guys on Friday.